The urgency starts now, and you got to start seeing it with this one tonight.
And you look at the bar that you have to reach and meet in order to maybe move up in the standings. I put this out on X, on Twitter. They were 13-4 since January 29, and they've only gained 3 games on the 6th seed. So you went from 12th, 6 games out, to after 5 or 6 weeks, now you're 10th and 3 games out, which is good, but you went 13-4 to even make that move. So if you extrapolate that out over the final 22 games, how are you going to close in on the 6? Well, 13-4, and you add in another 5 games on top of that, you're probably going to have to win 16 of these last 22 to even be thinking about possibly getting the 6.
Bobby Fitzgerald was on with us yesterday, and listen to the way he responded to the idea of, is this a fool's errand that we're on, or could the Warriors be noisemakers in the postseason?
If you take each series in and of itself and the Warriors get to focus on you and just you, and you've got Steph Curry and you've got Draymond Green and you got Klay Thompson and you got Chris Paul and you got Steve Kerr, and you go win the first game on the road, and then all of a sudden it's all that competition that's in their DNA and all that championship experience, teams, there's a reason the Heat make the finals from the 7th seed. There's a reason the Lakers make the Western Finals out of the play-in. There's just something in a shorter period. What if a guy rolls an ankle for the other team or this or that? Like, you never know. So, but are they, oh no, they're going to win 65 games and they're going to roll teams? No, those days are over with. The Durant era where they were just more talented than everybody, that's not here. But you think OKC and Minnesota, these teams are lining up that, hey, we hope we get the Warriors in round 1? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. By the same token, I don't know if you've noticed this. I noticed something, and this is just fans, so it's not like this has some sort of an effect on the team, but tucked into the bravado and confidence of a Warrior fan, there is actually some examples of the opposite. I think right now when you watch the Warriors play, when they're going up against a good team, we like in the back of our mind, we already put it in the loss column. You can hear it when people like go on schedule, like Goo did win-loss today, and he thinks they're going to win all their games. That's great. But people are like, okay, the Warriors need to make a run, and then you're like, oh, Milwaukee's in town. So what? So what if Milwaukee's in town? You want me to read the freaking scoreboard off the NBA live right now?
Live scoreboard?
There are 4 games being played.
In the association?
The home team is winning them all. And one of the home teams is the Washington Wizards.
It's a good little team.
They're winning.
Looking for win number 10, I believe.
They are winning by 9.
Let's go, Wiz.
Okay, against a playoff team in the East. The Hawks are blowing the 3-seed Cavaliers off of the floor. The Rockets are blowing the 4-seed Clippers off of the floor. They're almost up by 20. It's not even halftime yet. The Sixers with no Embiid. Sure, the Grizzlies are in town. Maybe that's a bad example. I think we're ready to demand more from this year and this team.
But Mark, they don't beat the good teams. They have 4 wins against top 4 teams in either conference this year. How can you rightly expect this Warrior team to win at home against a good Milwaukee team that's going to have Giannis playing?
Then it's probably time to move on from whatever you're doing. It's probably time to move on from whatever you're doing. That was the thought 3 weeks before the trade deadline. Then something changed. They're 13-4. That's great. That's great. There are analytics that would mute the excitement on that. And I'm certainly not suggesting that you do anything right now. You can't. Now you're pot committed. You've got Steph Curry. You've got ego. The trade deadline has passed. Obviously, you've got to play this out. And it is a moment of optimism for the Golden State Warriors. And I'm not here to throw a wet blanket on that at all. I'm simply saying that nights like tonight, if you feel like that's overwhelming and you can't stand up to that and you can't count that as a probable win when you're desperate and trying to chase a playoff spot, if you can't do any of that, then I've got a different prediction for you. They're breaking this thing up in the summer because this is if you're even within a sniff of this being something that you could tweak and go or whatever, This is, again, I never make it about one game. Oh, did you win this game? No, but you win this type of game most of the time.
If you're a good team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I think that's why I look at this not as a must win, but a trust win because of everything you've laid out. And Giannis is probably going to play, but he's a little bit compromised. You're playing at home. You have everybody healthy. You've got rest. You didn't play except for Sunday. Wiggins didn't play Sunday. Steph, Clay, and Dre played a half. Even if that, they played about 16 minutes a pop. You flew back and you had plenty of rest. You're home. You're healthy. You're rested. You're motivated. I'm with you as far as, you should be able to handle this Milwaukee team in this spot.
The starting lineup has been announced.
For the Golden State Warriors?
For the Warriors tonight against the Bucks.
All right. Are you going to do it like our good friend Matt Pittman, the PA announcer who works right? Maybe we could bring him in real quick.
Go back to Chicago. North Carolina!
I got to hand it off to the hype man, Franco Finn.
Yeah.
Franco Finn does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna. I wasn't gonna do any of that. I was just gonna tell you one thing, and
I thought you were gonna really dress it up.
One thing.
All right.
No, I wasn't gonna dress it up. I was gonna play some Steve Kerr though for you. Andrew Wiggins is in
The starting lineup.
He is in the starting lineup.
All right.
And Steve was asked about his new rotation and if he will do what we ask all of our toddlers to do.
Clean up after themselves?
No, share.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to share. But you just do the math, and there's going to be some people who are left out of the rotation. There's no getting around it. And so we're just trying to do what we think is right based on how we've been playing and who's been playing and who's been playing well, that sort of thing, and just try to do everything we can to win the game.
That sound is courtesy
Steve,
of...
you need to share.
Slates. The Athletic sharing that sound with us. Steve Kerr asked if he will share. No, he will not share. By the way, I had a preschool teacher one time share the opposite philosophy with that. So we do that too much.
We share too much?
Well, the kid is playing. And then we run over there because some other kid is crying, and we go... Now you've got to give up the toy that you rightfully are just playing with.
Right,
you're trying to play. Like, let the damn kid play. How about if you tell the crying kid, wait your damn turn?
Yeah.
What about that? Think about that?
I like that.
Hey, Moses, wait your damn turn. And he did.
And don't cry about it.
Right.
And
he didn't.
You'll get your turn. And when it's your turn, then we'll share. But just because I'm playing with this toy, just because I'm getting the minutes doesn't mean that you can throw a tantrum. And now Steve's going to say, hey, Andrew, I got to take you out. Moses is in tears down here. Moses really wants to play with the ball.
Ref, could we play 6?
Yeah.
Because we've got a tantrum over here.
We're having trouble sharing right now.
But no, that's the sharing part. But, maybe the more sort of compelling part is when Steve brought up his favorite word. And he said math. You can do the math. You tell. Some people are going to be left out. So here we go. Yeah. Is that like your prediction from yesterday when I said, boy, Dibs, cool prediction. That's a short team. You might have been spot on.
I believe you said it's a wee little team.
It's a wee little team.
You did your Scottish.
A wee little team with no rebounding. Yeah, we'll be watching tonight. Who's out? Warriors Survivor continues on 95.7 The Game. Who is getting voted off the island? Wiggins is back. Moody stays in the rotation. Is Looney going to get a DMP? Is Saric going to get a DMP? What is this whole thing going to look like? I'm calling for more Warrior definition. And so it's going to be another night of moving parts and moving pieces. But to me, if the Warriors are really going to get to where they need to go here coming up, that's got to be kind of what Steve Kerr and the rest of the staff are focused on, which is when they start to see something working, I'd love to see them just go with it. Even on nights when it's not working, you got to stick with it. You got to get a little stubborn here because you have to pretend this is that whole dress for the job you want, not for the one you got.
Right.
All right. Start acting like a playoff team. Maybe you'll lose a game here or there, but start acting like a playoff team. Get your 8.5 guys, and let's go.
Well, Warrior fans don't necessarily want that because if you're going to act like a playoff team, that means TJD doesn't get to play because he's a young player.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That's the way they do it.
Well,
I'm not asking you to agree or disagree. The history of Steve Kerr has shown that when we get into playoff time, he's going to default to veterans.
Well, sure.
And I think if we're asking for that 9th spot, even Moses Moody, younger player in his 3rd year, you're going to want him to play more than Steve Kerr is going to be willing to play him, I would predict.
Yeah. I mean, TJD, like, that's going to be the next one. He's the next Moody, where everybody's going to line up, you got to play more.
For sure they are.
Absolutely. But, yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he will be out tonight. There's a dynamic that, to me, leaves the court. And, again, you just took 3 of your 4 players that can even play as if they're 6'10", and actually you did take the only 3 players who are 6'10", and you sat them. Draymond Green's now your tallest Warrior.
Yeah, Looney 6'9", sorry. Dario 6'10", nah.
TJD
6'9".
Yep,
it's a pass. It's going to be a no from me, guys. Sorry.
That is just the tiniest team.
It's wee little.
That's enough for me,
That's
Doug.
the tiniest team I've ever seen.
But then again, and you've actually made this point on this very show, when you look at the championship team, they didn't have a center on that team. You did it with guards and wings and guards, and that was good enough.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, you sit those 3 guys, you still have 9 people who are playing. If you're playing Moody, which he said he is. He's playing Moody. Well, if Moody's in, Draymond, Kuminga, Steph, Chris Paul, GP2, Poughkeepsie Kid, Klay Thompson,
Poughkeepsie Kid,
Andrew Wiggins. That's 9 players.
Yeah.
And he's essentially stated that all of that, we know they're going to be in.
Yeah.
That's already a done deal.
And Kevon Looney's getting 10 minutes.
I don't know. Maybe not. Do the math, Dibs.
I'll do the math.
You can figure it out.
I've done the math because if you think about how many minutes are available in a regulation game in the association, the number is 240. So if you want to do a 240-minute pie and you want to start giving out slices of pie, assuming you don't get boat race like you did in Boston where everybody got a sliver except for, the bench guys who all got to eat. If you're trying to share 240 minutes among 9 guys, that's not a lot of minutes to go around when you're giving Steph 34 and Draymond gets 34 and then, Pods is getting 30 and Klay's getting 28. You run out of minutes pretty quick.